Hi there, it's Clive here, and today I thought I'd show you how I make YouTube thumbnails and all my other graphics with some really powerful Photoshop style graphic software which is free to use and has a simple version and a slightly more complex version depending on your level. Anyway, it's really easy to do, so without further ado, let's crack on. Just to say right from the very top, I am in no way a graphic designer or anything like that. However, there are great tools which are free that you can use to create thumbnails really simply, but with tools give you lots of sort of graphical processing power, and they're online, so you can use them on a Chromebook and things like that. I mean, you don't need a super powerful computer. If you do have Photoshop experience or you use other graphic design software, then many of the techniques I'm about to show you are true and can be used with this. So without further ado, let's crack on to the desktop and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I use is Pixlr, so Pixlr. Pixlr.com, okay, Pixlr.com, and there are two versions of it, and they're free to use, and I've always used the free version. You can log in as well, that makes no difference, still use the free one. I don't always log in. As you can see here, it's remembered, I've not logged in, but because of the browser, it's remembered lots of stuff that I've been doing. Like loads of stuff. You can see like I've done cutouts here. It's got thumbnails, graphics I've been using, lots of different things. So it remembers all those in the browser, oddly enough, which is quite useful. Now the easiest one, so it comes in two forms, this Pixlr X and Pixlr E. Pixlr E is what I sort of used to use in a slightly different format. It's much more user-friendly now, and that's very comprehensive and has lots more recognizable tools. If you're used to Photoshop or GIMP or something like that, it has tools which you'll really recognize. But for beginners or starters, a real sort of drag and drop and easy system to start with is the Pixlr X, which is a great way to get started with doing YouTube thumbnails or any kind of graphic, putting together any kind of graphics like that. And the beauty is you can swap between the two as well, which is really useful. So let's go with Pixlr X. So I just click on that. As I say, it's remembered just from the browser all my previous work here. But let's create a new one. So I'm going to create a thumbnail. So just hit create new. They've got here some pre-examples, whether you're building it for the web, full HD, 4K here, 1440. Am I right? Anyway, Ultra HD. There's your 4K. That's your 2K. That's your 4K. 1080 by 1080 for Instagram, an Instagram story, Facebook cover. So they've got some sort of templates. Now, I'm going to make one for YouTube. So I always do 1920 by 1080p. It's already there, and I need to do a YouTube thumbnail now for a stream I'm going to do later, so I'm just going to call it PUBG stream. So here we are, here's our blank canvas. Now I can use the scroller wheel on the mouse here to move the canvas in and out so I can get a better view. Okay, so now I want to add an image, so we just go down the side here and you see here add image. So you can browse for an image on your desktop, use some stock images that they have. This is where you start getting into sort of the paid side of things if you want to do that. But I'm just going to go browse, and then what I need to do is go to my stream graphics, podcast. Let's just find, I'm just at the moment just trying to find a suitable picture. Okay, so I'm just going to select a quick file that I like to use. Okay, so I'm going to use this file here, this Stadia one, because I'm doing a PUBG stream here. So I've just dropped in the file. You can see it's not the right size. I could probably get one that's slightly better definition. Now you can also center things. You see here the blue lines that suddenly appear. You know you've got it center. So if I just move this there. Okay, that's centered. But anyway, what I need to do, so if you just grab the corner of it, you can stretch it out to fit the canvas. I'm going to stretch it out because it's not the same dimensions in terms of proportions to the canvas. So I just have to drag it slightly more so it fits nicely. Let's just drag it a bit more there. And as I say, that's when it's useful. You can drag, use the scroll wheel on your mouse to drag out, and then you can see where the picture is in relation to the canvas. Okay, so let's just again, let's center that if we can. There we are. You see the blue cross there? That's centered. That'll do. Okay, so we're going to use this as the main thing, and then if you want to put some text on it, you've got a lovely handy T button here. Hit T, add text, and then you'll see it appear there. And then in the box down the side here, you've got they put in sample text, and you can change that. So let's call this weekend stream. Okay, I'm just going to put that weekend stream for now. And then down here, they've got their own collection of fonts. You can add your own font, add local font here if you have fonts on your main desktop or on your main computer that you want to use. But otherwise, they've got lots of really interesting fonts here. I like a slightly military kind of one to match the fact that I'm playing PUBG. So I tend to use, that's it, this one slightly. And then you can increase, so here you can position it, you've got your bold, the colors. Now the beauty of the colors here, obviously click here, you've got the whole gamut of colors here. You can put in the color number here as per normal, and then you've got a color picker, which I like to use because I like to sort of use colors that exist in the picture. So I'm going to click on this, and you get this little X, and then if you see here, I can pick a color. You can see how it changes if I pick a color. So I want some of this, maybe I want it in a sort of a yellowy, so let's just go for the same with the flame color. Let's go there, and you see the colors change there. And then we can increase the size just by drawing this line here. They make the money for the ads down here, so just click on that. And then if it's not fitting, you can see here you can extend the text box to make it fit across or crunch up into a specific box. But I want to go, say, all the way across. So I'm just going to take this text box, that side, and then maximize the size a bit. I think about there. Okay. And we're going to call it weekend stream there. I don't like the fact that his face is slightly, I might under that, but I'm going to live for that now. We're doing this really quickly. I might do something a bit more kind of clever and stick this behind him in some kind of fancy way. That's going to take a bit longer. Now, with the text, I can change the line spacing, the letter spacing. So if it's on 2 lines, I could change the line spacing, and then the letter spacing, I can stretch it out. Sometimes that's quite cool when you stretch out the words, not too much, but just a bit more than the normal spacing you get. I just think it just adds something to it, so it just stretches it out a bit there, maybe a bit too much actually. Because the next thing is then you can add backgrounds here. So you can add a background to the whole phrase, a background just to the line, in this case it is just one line, or a background to the individual words, you see. So that's quite good sometimes when you want it quite punchy, if there's nothing behind it, for instance. So in this case, there's pictures behind it. I don't really want to use it, so I'm not going to have that. So let's take that out. We don't want background. Outline. So outline gives it an outline, and again you can pick the color. You can just pick a color from the sort of color chart here by moving the thing around and the up and down here to find different colors, or you could put in a specific color number down there here, or as per normal use the color picker, which I like to do. So I'm gonna go for a black or a dark, so I'm gonna pick a dark color from the actual picture itself. There we are, weekend stream. So that kind of stands out a bit. As I say, I'd probably have his head in front of that. So you can add more text if you want. So I'm going to do that actually. We're just going to put here with Well, I quite like that too. Lord Kenzel and Yoshida. Okay, I quite like that. We can make it a bit smaller. I'm just going to put it in black so I can see it now. So I'm just going to change the color. This is not the color I'm going to use. I'm just put it in it for now. So I've just picked a dark color so I can actually see what I'm doing. Let's just drag this across the text box to match the size image, and then I can judge. I quite like this this font. This font's not one of the standard fonts. This is one I did import actually. Why did I import this font? It was for some other project I was doing. There we are. That looks quite nice like that actually. I say you can add the shadow as well, so it just stands out a bit there. And change the color of the shadow if you want. You can blur the shadow. You can change the angle of the shadow if you want. For instance, if I make the shadow black, you'll see what I mean. There we are. And then you can change the opacity of that, so how dark it is. You can see the shadow effects, the angles of the shadow, to sort of let it come off the page. I'm not going to go with shadow today. Again, we're going to go outline. Just think it's more punchy. I want a more of a white, or well, actually, why don't we reverse the colors? You can say I'm not a graphic designer. A graphic designer would know exactly what colors to use and all this. And also I'm colorblind, so that never helps when I'm designing. As I say, I'm not doing this as a graphic designer. I'm doing this as a sort of an amateur who likes to make quick thumbnails. There we are. It just matches up the color there. Let's just position it so we can position the graphics like that. Now, if you want to change any, so I'm going to add one more image here. So you can, there's lots of other things you can do. I'm just going to add an image here of Lord Kenzel. Here he is. Now you see that's massive there. So I'm just going to use the scroll wheel on my mouse just to scroll out so I can take this right down. Let's put this here like that. Make him a bit bigger. Let's see what that in. And then what I want to do is send him behind the text. So he's up here. So we need the text in front. So down the side here, you can see the different layers. So just like standard Photoshop style software, you've got the different layers. So I've clicked on this layer with the text. I'm just going to move it up. There we go, with Lord Kenzel. Now there's loads of other stuff you can do. As I say, you can do cutouts and stuff like that. So what I might do is, for instance, let's see what this looks like if we send the what I'd nearly do is really sort of cut out this PUBG guy, the player unknown, and then stick him on top, or just his the head bit, and stick him on top of the text. And you could do that. So if we go here to the home, toggle home button up in the corner here, okay, the picture that you've been working on, the active one, is still there, and I can open it up in Pixlr. Now, the good thing about that, for instance, if I want to click on, say, I want to put a surround, which you often see on thumbnails, you see surrounds on the cutouts of the people. If I click on that, up here we've got filter, and here we've got outline. Okay, and you can see the outline there. Now obviously look, I obviously cut this out badly. I left some marks. That's not very good, but we can rectify that. I didn't realize that. That's bad photoshopping in the first place. Okay, but let's put let's just make it white, just so it pops out a bit there. So the character, but as you can say, I'm going to apply it. Okay, you can increase and decrease the opacity of that outline. This is bad cutting out. Look at these blobs here. That's terrible. That's my fault. I'm lazy and I'm not a great graphic designer. You can increase the size of the border if you want. Look, I can just blur it out like that to make it slightly more subtle. Okay, so I'm going to apply that, and then I'm not happy with these blobs here, so I'm just going to see if I can get a rubber and rub them out. So up here you've got the little eraser bit. There we go. Take that out. Take that out. Yeah, that's all right. Just take that bit out. Yeah. Now, just to show you the cutout, for instance, that you'd normally get. So this is slightly more sophisticated, but again, the beauty is quite useful. See the lasso tool here you see in many programs. make sure you click on the correct layer that you want to cut out. So in this case, the weekend stream, and see whether that will work. I'm guessing where his helmet is. Right, and then up here, can I cut that out? No, it's not an image layer. Okay, forget that. So undo is normal. Control Z. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the, again, click on the toggle home. I'm going to go back to Pixlr X. Oh, and I nearly forget, when you're done, you can save it. Now, you have a choice to save it here as a JPEG. So for thumbnails, that's ideal. Make sure I whip the quality up to 1000. It'll tell you how large the file is here. I think the limit for YouTube thumbnails, for instance, is 2 megabytes, but with a JPEG, you're absolutely fine. If you've got transparencies in it, i.e. sometimes I just put text in there or a logo, but I don't want any sort of white background or anything like that, then you can use the PNG, and that will save it as a transparency, so that when you drop it into some, I say another graphics picture or another picture, none of the background is there, if that's how you want to do. And then if you want to save this as a sort of a template, so that all the layers are there, and then you can come back and use again, then you save it here as a PXD. So PXD basically saves all the layers as you see here. So if you open it up again, you can manipulate all the layers and everything again. The thing with the JPEG and the PNG, that's your finished picture. You don't get access to all the layers again. So that's what, so this is what you use when you're sort of finished. And then if you want to use it as a template, then you use PXD, and then you can open that PXD in Pixlr, and as I say, manipulate the layers all again. So in this case, we're just using JPEG. I want it 100%, so on high. I'm going to download it into my thumbnails, game streams, no, pictures, streaming graphics, thumbnails, and we're going to just save in here, PUBG 66, that's fine, save, and there we go. Okay, it's not the most stunning thing in the world. It's just a really quick demo of how I use this. And as I say, the Pixlr E is the much more complex one. So you can do much more complex things, cutouts, shapes, masks, all those sort of things. But for quick drop and pasting and adding text and stuff to your, and nice graphics and titles and putting outlines on your titles or putting backgrounds on the words and stuff like that, then Pixlr X is absolutely ideal. I use this all the time. It's all in browser as well. Don't have to download anything, which means that you can do it on anywhere. You can do it on your Chromebook. You can do it on your expensive computer. It's just really, really useful and very easy to do. So I hope you found that useful. As I say, it's just really a quick guide. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't know all the facilities of the tools, but if you're looking at how you can quickly put together graphics in a simple, really quick way for whatever purpose, then Pixlr X and Pixlr E are great tools to use, and you can use the sort of as simply as you want, or you can get down in the weeds and get really complex if you really know graphic design, and use a Pixlr E to do loads of really cool things if you're creative and imaginative, unlike me. But if a doofus like me can do it, then so can you. I hope you found that useful. Remember, if you did, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. All of that is much appreciated, and I'll see you very soon. See you.